I'm here with Alvaro, and we're going to be talking about tagging today, which is a key point of Golioth and managing your devices that are out there. How you doing, Alvaro?
Things are good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to talk about tags. So, what is the idea behind tagging different devices that are on the Golioth network?
Yeah, so the idea behind tags is for you to like organize your devices. So you can use tags on a really like flexible way. So you, for example, you can maybe separate what are your development devices and your production devices, and maybe push like a configuration change to that group of devices. Like maybe just the dev devices are going to run with a different update frequency, and the production devices have a different configuration. Or maybe you just want to separate from your deployments or regions, like maybe you're building an asset tracker application and you want to separate your devices that are on the US Central region and US East region, and you
Exactly.
want to
Yeah.
push different configuration to those devices. So you can use tags for that. And yeah, I mean, right now it's like a flat structure, so you can like assign multiple tags to your
Yeah.
devices, but that they don't have hierarchy. But we think that even that is a flat structure is like simple, so users can use that to do like some powerful things, like I just described it.
Yeah, yeah, I think the flexibility is definitely one of the key points there. Being able to kind of make up your own scheme as you need to, right? I mean, you mentioned being flat, but you can kind of simulate like hierarchy by having, you know, I think that's like always the shift I think about is like when people come from like Outlook going to Gmail. Right? That's always the thing that I think about. And they're like, oh, what folder do I put this email into? But it's the same kind of thing that some IoT systems kind of say, well, if device one is in this folder, it doesn't get the update, and now it's much more flexible in that way. So what are some other uses of it? I mean, so LightDB also allows us to assign tags to pull data like that. Is that right?
Yeah, on LightDB, actually, the way that you can use tags is for sending data. So, for
Mm.
example, like I mentioned, the configuration example. And taking another example, maybe you want to, I can show the command later. But you want, for example, to toggle an LED on a group of devices. You
Yeah.
can like send a new like state to that group of devices by using a tag.
Yeah.
For example, here. I use that a lot for testing. I have my desk devices that have like the desk tag,
Ah.
and then I toggle the LEDs on all of those devices by using the same tag. So it's one command I can send an update to all of them.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yeah, and
yeah,
that could be
and
extended to like a factory floor. So maybe it's in
yep.
this part of the factory versus the other type part of the factory. Yeah. So it really is. It's kind of what your imagination can kind of come up with in terms of how to manage these things. Can you show us how to actually add a tag to a device?
Yeah, sure. I think you're gonna add my screen here. So I have my Go Live console here with those are my four devices here on my desk, and I can show here my devices with tags. Let me increase my screen here. So here you can see the tags here attached to some devices here. So I have my desk devices or my ESP32 tag, and I can filter by those tags to see devices or on a given tag. Here I also created tags for the architecture of that board. So for example, I
Ah,
have
that's a good idea.
ESP32 here, I have a Nordic boards, I have NRF91 that uses NB-IoT, so I use the tags for having that kind of separation here.
Mm.
But you can also can create like any tag here. You can like go here, create your tag. I don't know, like example tag here, um, and then later you can assign that tag to your device. So I'm gonna show here. Actually, it's directly here, and then you can assign that tag to that
Hmm.
device, and you can choose multiple ones.
Yep.
Um, so now I can filter here by my example tag here.
Yeah, that's great, and that's
So
super
that's
easy
basically
on the console with the UI like that too. I mean, like that's a great way to do those sort of things because it super fast to do this sort of thing. You can also do this from the terminal, right?
yeah. You can do from the CLI here. Let me see if I remember all the commands correctly, but yeah, not gonna lie, folks. Sometimes we don't remember some commands. But I have glidectl here, and then you have the device update command, um, and then you have this flag here of the parameter to add and remove tags. So for example, I just added the flag these to this device here, the ESP32 logger. I just call LightDB device update. The name of the device is ESP32 logger. And then maybe I want to remove the tag example that I just created. And then the device is updated. I can now list my devices here. And then you're going to see that the ESP32 logger, this one, doesn't have the tag example anymore.
Yeah.
And I can
that's great.
Also filter by tags here. So for example, I can go and do GolightDB device list minus tags or dash tags, and then get the ESP32 tag. And then only devices have to tag ESP32.
Yep. And I could see this being like really, really useful as you start to have a deployment that's much, much bigger, right? So as you have hundreds of devices, thousands of devices, especially coming from the command line, you could start to script things and like add or remove tags as needed instead of trying to be like, well, oh, wait a second, this unique ID has, 24 characters and it's, alphanumeric. Is like, oh boy, you can actually start to do these tag things that are much more friendly, readable, and customizable.
Yeah, sure. There are other places, like we are using tags like throughout the whole platform. So for example, you can filter logs. So like if your devices are using our device service for logs, you can check like, oh, I want to see the errors on region X. So you can do that kind of filter. For LightDB stream that we didn't demonstrate it here on video yet, but it's a service for time series data on our platform. You can actually query data from a set of devices and even do aggregations. So for example, I want to see the average temperature of devices there are on this floor of the factory. So you can do those kind of things. Or I want to see the average battery on devices there are on this place. So you can do those kind of things on other parts of this.
Right. Yeah, and that can lead into like ad hoc mapping and just, that's super cool. I mean, this is great. So this is a great introduction. I mean, I think this is really just an introduction to tags. We're going to see this over and over again throughout Golioth platform. You're going to see people adding tags for like Alvaro said, to LightDB applications, to firmware updated applications we're going to show later. And it's just an integral part. It really is just it's one of those exciting things that helps you to organize your life. Who doesn't love a good organization system, right?
Yeah, sure. So, you're tagging your own stuff, creating folders, and
That's right. Yeah. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll be back with more videos here on Golioth.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.